So today I went to the really good, really big, really cheap book sale, and I got a few things that I thought I would share with you guys because I am very excited about what I was able to find. Before I show you what I got, in case you do not know what the really good, really big, really cheap book sale is, it is an annual book sale that happens in Greenville, South Carolina, that is put on by the Greenville Literacy Association, and it supports many, many things, including adult education programs in the upstate of South Carolina. And it is something that I have been to maybe a couple of times, but this year I really, really, really wanted to make sure I got to go. So me and my best friend went today. We both racked up on some pretty awesome things, and I thought that I would just share what I got with you guys because I'm excited about it. And there's some things in here that I have no idea if it's going to be something I enjoy, or some things that I know I'm going to love because I have read it in the past. So let's dive right into it. I'm just going to start from the top of the stack and go all the way down because it is strategically stacked currently to where it will not fall over. Now, as I go on, I probably am going to have an avalanche of books at some point, but that is a good problem to have and a problem I do not mind having. So the first book I got is the tiniest one, and it is a mini classics of The Wildwood of Wind in the Willows. I saw this teeny tiny book and immediately knew that I had to get it because it is adorable. The next book that I got is actually a book that I have heard a lot of good things about, but I have not had a chance to read it yet. And it was made into, I think, a movie adaptation as well. And that book is the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. So I'm excited to hopefully get to read this one soon. And it's been on my TBR for a while, so I am excited that I found a copy of this today. Now, one thing about me is that I love audiobooks, and I am the kind of person that feels like audiobooks are just as much a valid part of reading as a physical book, because there is literally scientific studies that have been done that prove that it activates the same part of your brain if you're listening to an audiobook as it does when you read a physical book. So I got two audiobooks today, and one of them is one that I enjoyed from my childhood, and that is The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963, by Christopher Paul Curtis. And this is narrated by LeVar Burton of Reading Rainbow fame. You can't get any better than this. We used to check this one out from the library all the time when we were kids. We listened to it in the car all the time. And I could not believe that I found the audiobook today. And I grabbed it super fast when I saw it because there was a lot of people there and I wanted to make sure I got this copy. So I'm very excited that I have this. The next audiobook that I got was one that I have been wanting to read, but I'll be honest, it has seemed a little daunting to me for the sheer size that the book is, and that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. And I have read the other two Susanna Clark books that she has released already. I've read them earlier this year. So I read The Wood at Midwinter, literally the first couple of days of the year, and then I read Piranesi earlier in April-ish this year. And I was interested in reading this book because I love the way that she writes and I think it's really beautiful, but it's so long. So long. And I was like, there's no way that there's an audiobook of it. I didn't even think to look. I don't know why I didn't, because I listen to audiobooks all the time. But I was browsing through the audiobooks at the book sale and I saw this. Okay. And it's a little worse for wear. It's got some taped up parts and it's got some different things. But I saw just even the tiniest part of it and recognized that that was it. And I snatched it up right away. Did not even think to look and make sure it had all the CDs in it. But when I got home, I counted and it does. It has 26 CDs. I'm not even going to think about how long that is right now, but I am so excited that I got this. This was kind of top tier find for me today. And I cannot wait to listen to it so that I can experience all of Susanna Clark's books in their entirety. This is a really good find for today. The next one is a book that I have never heard of before. I had never even heard of the author before, but I saw the cover and I was like, this looks so cool. I am going to get it. It is called The Optical Illusion by Rachel Halliburton, and it was shortlisted for the HWA Debut Crown in 2018. Now, this is beautiful. Do you see? It's beautiful. I love the way that it looks, and I'll be honest, I looked on the back, it said historical fiction. I'm a sucker for historical fiction. And I only really briefly skimmed the description. I am really bad about not reading a description of a book and just being like, okay. And then I read the book, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, whoa, I never expected this to happen. It was in the description on the back of the book, like the synopsis, you know? And if I'd read that, I would have known. But I think it's more fun to just like dive in blind to a book, because then everything that the author has created is just like right there for you. But I'm really excited to read this. It looks super, super interesting. And it is also a book that only had like European currency options on the back. So it's not sold in the United States. At least this copy wasn't, like commercially or whatever. So I thought that was really fun, and I'm excited to read this one. The next book I got is by one of my favorite authors, Alice Hoffman, and it is called The Third Angel. Looks like this. This book cover reminds me of an album art for a song that was really popular back in the day, and I can't think of what it is. But if I remember, I'm gonna like insert the picture right here. So do you see the resemblance between this and this? My friend that I was with saw this, and she was like, Alice Hoffman, and like threw it to me basically. And I got it, and I was like, thanks, and put it in my bag. We were having so much fun. It was the best day. The next book indulges part of a fascination that I have with wildflowers in general. I love just nature and all things nature. I have field guides for identifying different things, because that is the brand of nerd that I am. I have the Audubon Society Guide for Birds and for Shells. I have 2 copies of the bird one actually, and I have multiple other versions of books that are identification based. But this one is to add to that collection. It is Newcomb's Wildflower Guide. I just thought it would be fun to have, and if I ever need to identify some wildflowers, this should come in handy if I'm in certain geographical areas of the United States and Canada. The next things that I have over here are some book adjacent things. They're not necessarily books, but they are great course material. And I am that kind of person that even though I am not in school anymore, I still love to learn, and just having a chance to listen to a course and learn from it without having to be graded on it is the best in my opinion. And I just love it so much. So I got a couple of those. The first one that I got actually did come with a book, a course guide that came with it, and it is The Great Tours of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And I've always thought that Ireland and Scotland, that area of Great Britain, is just beautiful and fascinating, and historically has a lot of really interesting mythology and just lore in that area. And so I thought that this would be really, really cool to have and to just kind of enjoy at my own leisure. I also, because I am a nerd for anything language based, got 2 sets of great courses that have to do with language. I did not realize until I got home that one of them I did not get all of the parts of, but that's okay. It's okay, because I can learn what I can from what I've got. So the first one that I got is The Story of the Human Language. It is a 3-part course. I am super, super excited about this. Language is something that fascinates me just in general. The variety of languages there are in the world, and how each language has its own unique aspects, and there's different dialects in every language, which also interprets the meaning of words in different ways depending on where you are from. And it's just fascinating how people communicate throughout the world. And so I'm really excited for this one. And I'll be honest, the other one that I got, I wasn't originally going to get, but it had one of the parts for this in it. And so I bought it. And it's also the one that I didn't get the other one of, because I bet somewhere in that pile of great courses things, because they had a lot of them, that the other part of it is tied to another set of things, because these were all rubber banded together. And so I had to search for the finishing one for the human language one, but I didn't find the other one for the history of the English language. So I have part 1 and part 2, just not part 3. And that's okay, because I'm going to learn what I can from this. This stack is making me very nervous. I'm really hoping it does not fall, but I have done it to myself if it does. And I will deal with consequences. Moving on, I just realized all of the rest of these books are all in the same color scheme. I didn't do that on purpose, but that's how it is. I got a book about cats. I am a cat lady. I have a cat as you have seen if you have watched a couple of my other videos. But I got this book about cats because the illustrations in it were really, really cool. And it's just a fun book to have. So I am very excited that I have this one. This next book that I have is actually a collection of poems by my favorite poet, Langston Hughes, and it's called The Dreamkeeper and Other Poems. It is a scholastic edition, which I thought was really cool. So it's meant for like a younger audience, and I think that's super important, especially with poets who write more, I guess, not mature content wise, but mature language wise, like poetry. It's good to have like some of their poems that are definitely appropriate for children to be in a format where they can consume it and learn from it and grow to love poetry. Langston Hughes is someone that I didn't read really any of his poetry until I was in college, and I wish I could have been able to read it sooner. So I'm really excited that I found this and that I can have it for any of the little minds that I know that need to experience Langston Hughes for the first time. And my last book, which is actually the first book that I picked up today, is the Book of Christmas, the Reader's Digest Book of Christmas. And if you know me, I am a huge, huge Christmas girl. I am obsessed with Christmas. It is my favorite holiday. Close second is Thanksgiving, and I consider Thanksgiving and Christmas time as like a whole combination thing. It is my favorite time of the year because it's the most wonderful time of the year. And I grabbed this book because I saw Book of Christmas, and it just feels very like quintessential Christmas vibe based off of what I saw on the cover. And I opened it, and it had like the history of Christmas. It talked about some different Christmas stories, and then it had different Christmas literature, like songs and poems and things, and the explanation behind those. And the very back of the book was how Christmas is celebrated in different places around the world. And I thought, that is awesome. And it is a beautiful book, so it can be good for decoration for Christmas, but then also for reading enjoyment at Christmas. And so I was very excited about this one as well. That's what I got at the really good, really big, really cheap book sale. And if you are interested in supporting the Greenville Literacy Association, I'm actually going to put a link to their website down here. Obviously, not sponsored by them, but any group of people that is trying to help other people gain literacy and really develop that love of reading is a group that I think people should know more about. So if you want to check it out, you can. I also try in the description of every video that I've done to put links to where you can access and find the books for yourself if you're interested in getting them. Most of the time I use thrift books because I think it's a really economical way to get books and make sure that people are able to enjoy them in a variety of different price brackets, especially since some books can be really expensive. And if you're able to find an affordable one that ends up being something you really enjoy, it's like a little mini treasure hunt. And I love that so much. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hopefully it's not too creaky. The things that I do to try to make this work. This is stressful. Okay.